producers, very successful film guys. You'd be surprised some of these films that they've done, that he made himself feel bad when he didn't write the script, sit down, because every time he would go to sit down and write the script, he couldn't do it. And I said, so tell me, and I would listen to him. And I said to him, as I was listening, he started describing how he does things. He said, you know, when I'm behind that camera, when I'm with that cameraman, all my ideas come to me. They come so quickly when I'm walking around, I'm doing stuff with them. And then the moment I stop and I got to sit down at the table and write them, they go away. Ah, so what you're telling me is when you're moving with your camera guy, all those ideas are vivid and clear. But when you sit down, they're gone. Is that correct? Very simple. He said, yeah. I said, what you're telling me is if you could process your ideas while you were walking with this guy, you would come up with some great ideas and great concepts, that you're losing them from the time you're with him to the time you're sitting down. Is that correct? He said, yes. So I said, what could you do to capture that processing style in creating your films? And he thought about it, and he thought about it. He said, you mean like if I could capture my ideas while I was moving, you mean? I said, well, what do you think? I didn't give him the answer. And there was silence. And we're not comfortable with silence. We always feel like we have to fill the silence. And it's been a hard thing for me to learn. Silence really is golden, because silence allows people to process. We feel like we have to fill that gap in. So I let it be quiet. And 30 seconds can seem like an eternity of silence. Try it sometime. Just talk to somebody, you on one side and they on the other. Just let silence sit in. Silence forces something to happen. But you don't want it to be you, because you're just filling in space. So I let it be silence, and it was a long time. And finally he said, well, if I had a secretary follow me around, I could do that, but that doesn't make sense. What about a dictaphone? I said, sounds great. And I knew this. I mean, I was dying to tell him. I was dying. But you see, if I do that, I'm a consultant. I'm giving him the answer. I disempower him. I take the power away from him if I give him the answer. Coaching is about not giving the answer. Now, there are times with some people where they, you're going round and round and they can't come up with anything. We ask for permission to share. But what ended up happening is he ended up putting it in a dictaphone, give it to his secretary, transcribe it, and he's having winning films and all kinds of things now. You see, it wasn't that complicated, but he beat himself up for years. He got into the film industry late because he beat himself up. I've got entrepreneurs that same thing. I've got people in all walks of life that didn't understand this system called unique brain wiring. And it's not complicated, but it's situational. So it changes situation by situation. This is what we talked about before. I call them pests and pigeons. What you pay attention to grows.